The only local news teams taking action for you. KIMA KEPR Action News starts now.
Coming up this morning on Action News, 2 people are dead after what police are deeming murders, both happening late Friday night, though unrelated. One suspect has been arrested. That attacker entered a home and killed a father who was defending his 15-year-old. We'll share the latest from police. Plus, researchers in the Evergreen State have been working on a new way to treat paralysis in patients. It involves an electric current, and post-treatment, one patient has started playing guitar again. We'll hear from him. And got sun? Well, it's summer, and most folks these days are. So for the 7th year, the Skin Cancer Foundation was in town giving free screenings. A welcomed visit, though if you missed it, we have details on the next time free screenings will be available. That story and more coming up as you start your day with us right here on Action News. Good Monday morning, everybody. I'm Dave Furtado.
And I'm meteorologist Jefferson Donovan.
And Jefferson, in the world of weather, this weekend was fantastic. We had gorgeous skies. The temperatures may have been a little bit on the warmer side, but albeit it wasn't awful. I mean, it wasn't triple digits like we saw in the further to the south. Yeah, absolutely. It was a pretty nice weekend overall. I know there were some clouds in the sky yesterday, plenty of sunshine on Saturday, but still, as we got towards the later stages of Sunday, we even saw the sunshine come out. And to Dave's point, just a pretty nice weekend overall. And we're going to continue to see similar weather conditions as we do go through much of this week. As we're waking up this morning looking out at Yakima, it's hard to believe that it is just now 5:01 and we're already seeing such blue skies out there, just the sign that we're almost near that summer solstice, or we are near the summer solstice. It's only a few days away at this point. We're at 60 degrees right now, a pretty warm morning in Yakima, and this is going to set up what is going to be a warm afternoon. As we look at the weather headlines, sunny skies and warm highs on this Monday, topping out in the upper 80s, nearing 90 degrees for many of us. Going into tomorrow, we're going to maintain sunshine and equally as warm temperatures, but winds are going to be increasing for the second day of the week. And then on Wednesday, we're going to keep the sunshine, but temperatures are going to be turning much cooler. I'll continue to break down your weather forecast coming up. Thanks, Jefferson. We begin this morning in Yakima. Police there are investigating 2 separate unrelated murders from Friday night. According to officers, the first happened at approximately 10:45 in the 1900 block of Bogus Lane. Police say a 33-year-old man entered his neighbor's home and began attacking a 15-year-old girl. When the girl's father tried to intervene, he was then stabbed several times and died at the scene. The girl was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The man behind the attack was taken into custody on charges including first-degree murder. And the second murder happened less than an hour later, just after 11:30 p.m. at the Seasons Performance Hall. Officers responded to several calls of shots fired, and when they arrived, they found a 38-year-old man with several gunshot wounds. He was taken to the hospital before succumbing to his injuries. Officers say they found nearly 100 casings at the scene of the shooting, which they believe is gang-related. Police are asking anyone with information to come forward and contact them. Police in Kennewick are investigating after a crash ended with a man pulling a gun. According to officers, it all happened at the intersection of Canal Drive and Cleveland Street just before 12:30 Sunday afternoon. It's unclear what led up to the crash, which sent the SUV you see here through a fence, but folks at the scene say another driver confronted the man who crashed before he pulled out a gun and fled the scene. Officers swarmed the area and were able to take the man into custody without incident. They tell us they're still investigating what happened, but did say there were no serious injuries. A man wanted for escaping community custody has been arrested with thousands in stolen checks. Deputies with the Benton County Sheriff's Office say when they tried to first contact the man, who has not been identified, he fled from them on foot. He was eventually taken into custody after about a half hour. Authorities say they found several checks that had been stolen in a burglary from an apartment complex, totaling $25,000. He's been booked into jail on several additional charges. And the Yakima Police Department will be hosting a monthly Domestic Violence Coalition meeting this week at Educational Service District 105. The meeting will feature a presentation of the dangers of strangulation given by guest speaker Kelsey McKay. Police say McKay, an attorney, is an expert on the topic and will share what the community needs to know about these dangerous types of abuse. McKay says domestic violence and strangulation awareness play a role in homicide prevention because it can be a predictor that an abusive relationship is escalating.
Research tells us that once a woman in an abusive relationship has been strangled, obviously non-fatally, it creates the opportunity and the prediction that that woman is now 7 times more likely to to be killed by that partner. And so there's an association with utilizing strangulation as a function of homicide prevention if we can identify it.
Now, the meeting is open to the public and will be held at the Maggie Perez building at ESD 105 from 10 a.m. until noon tomorrow. Folks commuting through Pasco rather this week will want to be aware of some upcoming traffic revisions. Officials say starting this morning, East Salt Lake Street from North Oregon Avenue to North California Ave will be closed for utility installation and roadway restoration. The closure is expected to last through this Friday. Drivers are advised to use alternate routes to avoid detours and delays. In health news, researchers at the University of Washington Medical Center are finding new ways to treat patients who have been paralyzed. In a recent study published, researchers say they applied an electrical current to the injured part of a participant's spinal cords, ultimately helping many of them regain function in their hands, including John Schuleter, who has started to play guitar again.
And I was kind of showing off the little bit of progress I was making to people, my friends, because they could see it. I mean, it was starting to get stronger. And it was a friend who said, like, you could probably play guitar, and gave me his guitar to play. And that was, you know, I'm indebted to him for that. It's amazing.
Schluter says even after finishing the study, he's continued to see progress. Researchers say they saw 72% of participants respond to the therapy, while the others likely didn't due to the extent of their injuries. Folks in Richland took advantage of free cancer screening over the weekend. The Skin Cancer Foundation's Destination Healthy Skin RV was back for its 7th year, offering free examinations on a first-come, first-served basis. Healthcare workers at the site tell us skin cancer is one of the most common cancers, and everyone should get checked.
Skin cancer is the #1 cancer that exists. If you were to add up all the other cancers, your breast, your prostate, your colon, all those others, there's still more skin cancer than all the others put together. And then the other thing important to think about, when you have a population, 1 in 5 will have skin cancer.
Folks there told us it's great to see this in the community.
So comfortable, so positive. I've never had a screening done before, so I wasn't sure what to expect, but just checked all the areas, and they were so kind, asked me questions about my kids, about me, if I had any other questions, so they were super generous with their time.
While Saturday's free screenings are over on June 21st, Derma Health Dermatology and Derma Surgery will be hosting a free cancer screening at their skincare clinic in Richland. And with that, let's jump right over to meteorologist Jefferson Donovan to talk about the weather today. Jefferson, sunny skies, temperatures still kind of warm, a little bit above average, I believe, right?
Yeah, above average by about 10 degrees or so around the forecast area as we continue to see all of this sunshine. It was a very summer-like weekend, as Dave and I noted earlier, especially on Saturday, and we are just going to continue to see those summer-like conditions as we do go throughout the course of this week, and today is no exception. We're going to see that sunshine today. Temperatures in the mid to upper 80s, maybe low 90s in the forecast area. Similar story tomorrow, but we are going to add winds to the equation tomorrow. How windy it could get where you live on Tuesday, that's coming up.
Thanks, Jefferson. The time now is 5:08. Coming up on KEPR KIMA this morning, another nurses strike on the horizon. The Oregon Nurses Association announced a three-day strike across 6 Providence hospitals. A last resort, said one nurse, adding they will not accept a bad deal. It's set to begin 1 week from tomorrow, and in about 2 minutes, we'll dive into what they're asking for. But later in the show, national news. Biden heads to Italy for a G7 meeting this week. Meanwhile, the former president is back on the campaign trail post-conviction in the so-called hush money trial. The DA who headed up that trial also agreed to testify on Capitol Hill. We'll fill you in on all of the latest. And in health news, doctors say they're getting closer to understanding Parkinson's disease, the fastest growing brain disorder in the world. It has no effective treatments to slow it down, but hope is coming from a new discovery.